Good afternoon, my name is Gavlin and I'm an immigration attorney in New York City. Today I would like to talk to you about asylum process for members of LGBT community. A lot of our clients are members of the LGBT community and we work together with the LGBT centers in New York City to assist clients in their asylum process. First of all, I would like to let you know that the process of getting asylum is a personal process, especially for members of the LGBT community. Sometimes it gets very traumatic to talk about your experience in the country, instances of persecutions, or the reasons why you're afraid to return. We understand the issues related to this process, and we try to connect with our clients in the best way possible to make their process of receiving asylum not only successful from a legal perspective, but also successful and also pleasant from a perspective of personal approach. First of all, I would like to tell you that to apply for asylum, you need to file your application within 1 year of arriving in the United States. Your date of entry into the United States is a very important time, and you need to make sure that you consult with your attorney or you find an organization that can assist you with your asylum process within 1 year of arriving here so that your asylum application could be timely. There are a few exceptions to the 1 year rule. For example, if they involve changed circumstance or some extraordinary circumstances that prevented you from filing earlier, but just to make sure that you're filing timely and that your rights are preserved, make sure you speak to an attorney as soon as possible if you're thinking of applying for asylum. LGBT community, LGBT members are part of a social group under the Immigration Nationality Act. It isn't a process based on political opinion, nationality, race, or religion. It falls into the category of social group. And social group for LGBT members has been accepted, and it is a legal basis for applying for asylum. People contact us from different countries because unfortunately there is a lot of persecution of the LGBT community around the world. It is especially prevalent in African countries, South American countries, as well as countries in Asia and Eastern Europe. LGBT members usually experience persecution not only from the government, but also from members of their own family, as well as their neighbors, their friends. And so it is a very traumatic process, and very often when we speak to our clients, we find facts and circumstances that qualify for past persecution standard under the asylum regulation. So to get asylum in the United States, you need to show that you have been persecuted in the past in your home country. When you successfully present evidence or present testimony, credible testimony to establish that you in fact have been persecuted in the past, there is a rebuttable presumption that you will experience well-founded fear of future persecution in your home country. If you have not had instances of past persecution, you can still apply for asylum based on just the future fear of persecution. You would need to show in that case that your fear is well-founded, meaning it is subjective as well as objective. Now, subjective means that you really do fear and you really do have concerns that there is threat to your life, liberty in your home country. Objective evidence usually comes in the form of the reports or other articles, documents showing that the situation in your home country is as you present it to be, meaning there is homophobia. There are instances of persecution of the LGBT community. There is stigma attached to being a member of LGBT community. Now, to get those documents, we usually look at Department of Homeland Security's, Department of State's reports, as well as other articles that, for example, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Those organizations are excellent when it comes to finding background evidence in support of asylum cases for our clients. In addition, we work with the LGBT Center that's located on West 13th Street in New York City. It's an excellent center. They have a lot of wonderful programs for people, not only from immigration perspective, but also from perspective of socializing, from making your life beginning fresh in the new country. It's not just for immigrants. There are a lot of members there that have been born in the United States and lived their whole life. It's just a really nice place. It's very welcoming and friendly. And we attend this center on Thursdays when they have immigration groups. And we provide legal advice, we answer questions, and we just connect with the community and try to answer whatever questions or concerns they might be. In addition, the reason the center is great is because if you attend the center and you receive services from, let's say, a psychologist or social worker, these people will then write reports and letters for you in support of your asylum case, which you can present to asylum officer or the immigration judge in court. So overall, I would highly recommend that if you're thinking of applying for asylum in the United States and you're located in New York City, you should definitely contact the center. If you're not in New York City, you should check with your town to see if they have anything similar to that in your place of residence, because these centers and these organizations are really useful in my experience for a lot of our clients. So at this point, I would like to also tell you just a quick recap of how the asylum process works. So originally you file, if you have not been detained in the United States, you will file an affirmative asylum application, meaning you fill out your asylum application, write a statement explaining your story, explaining what happened to you in your country or the reasons why you're afraid to return, and you will file it with the Vermont USCIS office. At that point, they will issue a receipt with an assigned alien registration number. Next step would be you will be called in for fingerprinting biometrics appointment, which you must attend. If you fail to attend such appointment, your application for asylum may be deemed abandoned. After the fingerprint appointment, you simply wait for the interview date to be scheduled with the asylum officer. The asylum office where your interview will take place depends on your place of residence. If you change your address between the time of filing your asylum application to the time of the interview, you should definitely notify USCIS to make sure they will schedule interview at a proper asylum office. Otherwise, there is a risk of you arriving at the asylum office and not being able to go on with an interview because the officer will consider that they don't have jurisdiction. Jurisdiction lies based on your residence. So if you are scheduled for an asylum interview, you will arrive to an interview, speak to an asylum officer. The interview takes place in more or less informal proceedings. I mean, definitely it's still a very important step, but the reason I'm saying it's informal is because you do not have the prosecutor, you do not have the judge. You simply speak to the asylum officer and you present your evidence and you present your case. If the asylum officer finds you credible and they find that you have established the burden of proof as far as showing past persecution or well-founded fear of future persecution, then the asylum officer has the authority to grant you asylum in the United States. Normally, they do not issue the decision on the spot, but they will mail you, they will not mail you, I'm sorry. They will ask you to come in about 2 weeks to pick up your decision. If you were granted asylum at the asylum interview, then you become asylee and you're eligible to apply for a green card within the year of the date when you were granted asylum. If for some reason either the officer finds that you were not credible or the officer finds that you have not properly presented your case, properly corroborated, or haven't met your burden of proof, the officer will refer your case to the immigration judge. In New York City, the immigration court is located at 26 Federal Plaza, which is right across the street from our office. If your case is sent to the immigration judge, you will have to appear before the judge at least twice. The first hearing is a master hearing where you will answer the allegations in your notice to appear, as well as reapply for the form of relief. And of course, schedule the actual trial date, the individual hearing, at some time based on the judge's availability on the calendar. And then, of course, while you're waiting for your individual hearing, you have to get together all your documents, all your corroborating evidence I mean, this can be anything from your family members, from people who know about your persecution, police reports, medical records, anything at all that could possibly help you or corroborate the fact that you have been persecuted or that you have well-founded fear. So that's basically the process of getting asylum in the United States. Some people are lucky and they get asylum at the step of the asylum officer, and some people are transferred to immigration court, which, as I always say, is not the end of the road. In fact, I find that the immigration judges have a higher percentage of granting asylum cases compared to immigration officers, because you have better way of presenting your evidence, you have more time, and the process is slightly different. So if you're thinking about applying for asylum, if you have any questions whether or not you qualify, what documents you need, what are the time frames, or you would like to speak to an immigration officer in general about your situation, feel free to call our office and we'll be happy to speak to you. Thank you.